Not yet.
I need to know so nobody.
No, I ain't got it right here.
Okay. You will put it up here. I'll do my best.
Okay.
Testing. Dean, are we waiting on the little mic?
We can. You want it up there?
Yeah, I'll try not to break it again.
Hey, Bill. Yes. Put this down there. This is the microphone? Yeah, and it's going to be on.
Before I forget.
It's already on. It's on.
Everybody
Just lay it up on the podium, and we're good to go.
All right, we'll break.
I thought it was just a battery.
No.
You kept knocking
I had
it
to
down.
open up my piggy bank, take all my change, my gas money, because Dean is mean.
You got $10 better than his piggy bank.
How's everybody this evening? Ted, you're back. How was the trip?
It was productive.
That's all I like to hear. You go to Georgia?
Sparta, Wisconsin. Georgia's next week.
Okay, Sparta, Wisconsin. Has anyone else ever been to Sparta, Wisconsin?
I drive 30 miles just to get to a Kentucky Fried Chicken.
That says enough to me right there. We'll never be there. All right, good evening, everyone. I want to thank you for coming out this evening. Looks like we're working in sections tonight, but we'll make it work. All right, a couple of quick announcements real quick. We had our nomination process over the last week and a half. The nominations closed Saturday. We will post the nomination for officers by Wednesday night on the website so that everyone can go on the website and then they can see the people who are running for office, and then you can make a decision who you'd like to vote for. Another announcement is that we want to remind everyone that if you cannot be here, we are posting the meetings on YouTube. Okay? And if there's something you'd like to go back and review, you can go to TOAofficials.org. TOA meetings on YouTube. And there they are. Every meeting from this year is listed. Do we have the meetings from last year? Some of them? Okay. And some of them from last year are still on there also. Look at Sarge. Hey, that's what he does. That's right. So all of the meetings for this year and some of them from last year are still there. Oh, someone's got it. Thank you. Okay, and one other announcement real quick. I'm going to ask Mr. Bill Stover to come to the stage real quick. He has an announcement he'd like to share with everyone.
Okay, I don't need that microphone. Good to see y'all smiling faces. Package. Who has that package?
Got it today.
Should be today. Okay, package were mailed out Thursday in bulk mail. Now, those of you who work at the post office, you know how that works. Right, Gary?
That's right.
So you might get that between 9 and 5. But if you have paid and registered online, you will receive your packet sometime this week if the post office says so. Those of you who have not registered online, I'm going to say that one more time. Those of you who have not registered online, you need to get registered. Because if you work a game between the 6th grade and 12th game for the secondary school activity, you must be registered as an official. You must pass part 1 of the test. And you're going to do that. Not a problem. New officials, I'll work with you on that. Everything is done electronically. You cannot go in your pocket, go down there to secondary school activity, give them cash. They don't accept cash. They don't accept anything. You must do it with a credit card. If you can't do it with a credit card, then talk to your buddy. Are there any questions on registration or on these packets? If not, I'll turn it back over to Wayne.
Thank you, sir. Thanks, Sarge. Do we have any new attending officials here tonight? Anyone, this is the first night here?
First night.
So we're, yeah, Mark was here. Okay. All right, good. We have the honor and the privilege of having a member of the OSSAA with us tonight, and who's officiated for how long? Ever? Since,
Wow.
yeah, there you go. And he's here to share with us his expectations, the direction that the city of Oklahoma is taking, and not just the sport of basketball, but the direction that the association is taking as a whole, so that we all know and we all have an understanding. There's a wealth and a depth of knowledge that he'd like to share with you. If any questions, please ask, okay? And I am forever thankful for coming out and visiting with us tonight, taking the time to visit with us. And at this time, I'd like to ask Mr. Mike Wade, the Director of Officials from the OSSAA, to come speak to you, please.
The introduction was much better than what you're going to get, so you might just hold on. I will say my usual disclaimer at this point for anybody who's ever listened to me speak at one of these things. You know I'm not the Director of Officials, but Sherry Riddell is actually the Director of Officials, and I'm just kind of the guy that works for Sherry occasionally. So if you've never met Sherry, you don't understand what that's about. If you have met Sherry, you know exactly what that's about. So I appreciate the opportunity. Sarge sent me an email a couple weeks ago or whenever that was to come by, and I've done this before. I enjoy coming to speak to your group for a couple of reasons, and the first reason is that no local organization trains basketball officials better than this association trains basketball officials, without a doubt. What you guys do, how you're set up, the way you go about things, no one does it any better than you guys do. And we're not in the training business at the OSSAA. We're in the take your money business. And that's what we do really well, most of the time. And then we assign playoff officials. The training has to take place somewhere else, and you guys are a model for every local association in our state. So I greatly appreciate what you do, the number of officials you're putting out each year, and the training that you're doing for those folks. I want to talk on just a couple of administrative things real quickly. Sarge gave the speech about the packets, and he's exactly right. We try to bulk mail everything, so it goes out the third week of September. All the winter sports go out together, and obviously that's many, many sacks of mail, so there's a lot of stuff we haul down there. So the fact that they didn't all go out the same day doesn't surprise me. But if a week from today you haven't seen your packet, shoot me an email if you don't have your packet by then, and I'll see what the holdup was and why you didn't get it on time. As you do know, if you have enrolled with us this year, like Sarge said, everything is online. We don't accept paper enrollments anymore. We don't accept cash money, and if you know the history of the OSSAA, you know why we don't accept cash money on site. So we try to limit the amount of cash we have floating around in our particular place. It just makes it a lot easier for us to settle up at the end of the year. So we do it with a debit or a credit card. I have had a couple of guys that told me that they didn't have one of those, and my suggestion has been go to one of your friends, use their debit card, and give them the money. I don't care whose debit card you use. I just want your money, so it really doesn't make me any difference. But you do have to have an email address to enroll online. That is the way Arbiter Sports tracks you, is through your email. It cannot be an email address that you use for any other, anybody else can't use that. Two of you living at the same place, using the same email, can't register like that. You've got to register separately because that's the way Arbiter tracks you. Obviously, when you registered there, you saw that the price went up, and it's gone up to $60 for the first enrollment. We've been at $45 for many years. We're in my opinion, and talking to my compatriots that work in the area doing what I do in Texas and Arkansas, Colorado, and New Mexico, we're on the low end of things. And also, so for that reason, and for the reason that we have gone to Arbiter, we have gone to ref pay, to pay playoff officials, and we've also made every one of you an official with the National Federation. And so that $15 increase is kind of broken down into two things. One, it costs $10 to enroll you as a national, with the National Association, the National Federation. What did that do for you? Well, I think it gives you access to 24/7 information from the Federation that you couldn't get before. You now can go to their site. You now can go to basketball. You can pull up an online rule book. You can pull up any publication that they have. You can pull it up because you are a member of 100% state. They have video clips of all kinds of plays that you're able to pull up based on what the quality of your computer is. Obviously, if you have one like I have at my home, I can't do that yet, you know, but if you have one like I have one at my work, I can watch all kinds of video clips all the time. Our dream, and we're not anywhere close to being there yet, our dream is eventually for us to be able to post clips from around things that we've run into in our state and get them up there and talk about them and get them out where guys could make comments on them, and we could use that at some sort of training. We're not there yet. We're not close to being there, but there's plenty on the Federation site for you to see. That works out, you know, $10 there. That's about 87 cents a month, and you have a shot at accessing that 24/7 as long as you're at a computer. The other $5 went to about 3 different areas. One area was this concept that we have of registering with Arbiter. Arbiter's enrollment process online costs us roughly $1.82 for every one of you that enrolls. So that part of the process, obviously, as a consumer, you understand how things work. When the people at the top get handed the price increase is handed to the consumer. So you picked up the $1.82. The second part of that was this idea of ref pay. Ref pay is a third-party entity that we will be using during the basketball and the football playoffs to move money from our association to your bank account. In other words, previously to this time, when you officiated a playoff game in football or basketball, you filled out a claim form. The form then came into the office by, I don't use the term snail mail because that's derogatory. Mail. Okay, mail. Should we say regular mail? We'll say regular mail. It came regular mail. When it came into the office and it had to be opened, it went to Sherry, who was my assistant. She verified it, gave it to me. We ran a tab on it. I figured it up. It went down to the bookkeeper. The bookkeeper started the process to get the check made. The check went back to Sherry. Sherry went back to the envelopes, and then it came to you. Now, obviously, most of you know that doesn't turn around very fast. And also, you can imagine the number of people that handled it there in the office. What we've done with RefPay now is what we'll do each week after the playoff weekend, we will move an amount of money into an electronic account with RefPay. Everyone who has had a playoff assignment will have to be enrolled with RefPay, and then you'll be able to access RefPay and move that money within 24 hours after we put the money in there. You'll be able to move it to your bank account. And some of you use RefPay on other things, I think, already. I know a lot of the colleges do that, and I know a lot of our soccer associations in the state of Oklahoma do that. What does it cost you to get a RefPay account? It costs you zero. Absolute zero. Unless you want some of the other perks that go along that. They're just like any other system. They'll give you a debit card in their name and all that kind of stuff, and you can pay for that process. But if you just want the basic account, it costs you nothing. Okay? You give them your bank information. We never see that. You give them your checking account information. We never see that. And this is a national organization. Now, this is somebody that's doing this nationwide. Their security things are just awesome, and I'm not in any concern that, and a lot of people are worried about handing out their information, rightfully so. But I haven't had any feedback from anyone, any place, that says RefPay didn't handle their stuff correctly. What I like about it is many things. One, you can imagine the paper trail in the office now. There is no paper trail in the office anymore. Once you work an assignment in the playoffs electronically, it will come to me. I will verify the assignment on my computer, kick it to the bookkeeper. She'll make sure she's got enough money in the account, and she'll release it to RefPay. At that point, 24 hours from then, you can go in to your FPay account and you can scoop the money over into your account. That's a little bit better than the 7 or 8 day turnaround on the paper. I think it's a little more efficient, obviously, from our end. But as you know, there's a cost there. And so the cost that we're paying is based on the amount of your check. So the higher the check, the more that we pay. It breaks down into, I think, $150, $250, $500. So we're paying for that. Obviously, you're going to get to pick up. So that's part of that $5, okay? Just a portion of that. You say, well, I don't call the playoffs. I never do the playoffs. Why am I having to, why are you getting the opportunity to contribute to ref pay? You are. I wish I could tell you why you are. Everybody's in. It's one of those all-in things. The other part that the $5 goes to, when you enroll with the OSSAA, you receive a certain amount of liability insurance that covers you. And when Sarge said a while ago that you don't need to be calling basketball games or officiating any contest without being enrolled and passing Part 1. Passing Part 1 and enrollment makes you an eligible official. Then when you go to officiate, you have liability insurance from the time you leave wherever it is you go till you get back to wherever it is you're going from. So if you have an accident on the way to the game, you have an accident on the way home. If you have an injury at the game, this is a supplemental insurance that kicks in and covers what portion of what your health insurance doesn't cover. Last year, our premium, the OSSAA's premium for all of you was $50,000, okay, for all of you. Now, when I left the office a while ago, Sherry gave me the numbers. We had right at 2,400 officials enrolled, and we had about 880 of you basketball people enrolled, okay? So you can imagine $50,000, that covered everybody. Last year, our claims to this organization that we get the insurance from was right at $55,000. So we lost, they lost $5,000 in the transaction. If they lost money, what happened to our premium this year? It went up, okay? It went up, but we didn't feel like, we thought we could kind of take care of that with that $5 bit right there, so we didn't go move the price up as far as your enrollment was concerned. Probably should, the enrollments probably should have gone up. The insurance went up for us from $6.72 to $9.12 for each one of you. And so, but it's a good policy. It is better than what the Federation offers, and we've had a lot of guys use it. Problem was last year we had two officials that had claims of over $24,000 individually, okay? Serious knee injuries that caught them, okay? But that's what it's there for, and that's why you got it, that's what we're going to use it for. Obviously though, when you spend more, pay more out than they're taking in, they're going to pass that on to you. So for that $15, what happened was you became a member of the National Federations Officials Association. You get the benefits of enrolling online with Arbiter. You get the benefits of the National Federation's 100% state, and you got an increase on your insurance. And so that's where the $15. When you enrolled in your second sport, which I know a lot of you guys are 2 or 3 sport people, we didn't change that cost at all. It's still $15 for the next sport. So I know there was some concern about that. I understand it. I also know that if you're like me, and I'm not like most of you that call basketball, I had the one pair of pants, the one shirt, the one pair of shoes. I've been with Mr. Trawick sometime where I had to go out and help him carry in these extra bags. He's got so much stuff. And if you ever, I don't know how many of you guys are baseball people, but those baseball people, they're totally fashion nuts. They've got more shirts and jackets and pants and stuff than anybody. How do they do? I don't know how you get started. I mean, I got started with one pair of pants, a shoes, a whistle, and I didn't have a jacket for the first 5 years because I was too cheap to buy one. But I know that's about a game fee is what it's costing you to do that. I understand. And I appreciate the fact that, you know, not a lot of the prices are going up. I will tell you this, the board did change at the end of June all of the playoff fees in basketball and football and baseball and softball, all went up, okay? If you want to go online and look there, I put them online. The increase in basketball probably wasn't as significant as it should have been, but it was an increase. It was an increase all the way across the board, with the exception of one sport, and I won't go into which sport that is, because I'm not real sure which one it is. Soccer. That's the only one I didn't come up. So overall, last year, the association spent in the neighborhood of $325,000
on officials for playoff contests. They increased their amount. If you go through and put the increases in play that we asked for, they're going to increase their amount about $50,000. So they're going to go up. It ended up being about 17% across the board. Now, some sports went up. Baseball was very low, and they went up about 35% on their game fees. They went from like $35 to $50 a game. Softball went up some, football and basketball went up some. But you can look, and I won't try to recite those, but that is the thing. Now, the other thing that everybody talks about playoff-wise is the mileage chart. And the mileage chart is totally out of sync. It's not practical, but it is the mileage chart that we have. And, you know, I'll just tell you I'm working on that. It works out to be about 25 cents a mile. And right now, I think the going rate for the IRS is right at, what, 53, 55, somewhere in there, which that's ridiculous that we're half of what they are. But it is what it is right now. Here was the reason that I attacked the game fee first as opposed to the mileage chart. I can tell the board very specifically how many games we had, with the exception of sometimes in baseball and softball, 2 out of 3, we never know exactly how many we're going to play. But I could get pretty close to that. Mileage-wise, it would have been a total guess, because based on who's coming from where, that's going to change the mileage up tremendously. And I don't, you know, I will tell you, Mr. Shakely has told me to be mindful of that, but he hasn't told me that I need to just take the officials that are right around the game side each time. So as we move up in the playoffs, I try to bring guys from all over the state to call in the quarters and the semifinals without really worrying about where they're coming from. The other thing that we've done in the last year is I tried I'm trying to keep all of our information on the sports pages current to your sport. So on the basketball page right now, you'll see the points of emphasis. I don't know if I'm sure you probably talked about those a little bit. These are some of the things that are, these are the things that we emphasized at camp this year. They're emphasized at our observers. We'll be looking for these types of things. I don't know, you know, how into to playoffs you want me to talk about. I'll just hit it real briefly. But also on the website is the criteria for playoffs. You know, how do we go about selecting playoff officials, right? And then it kind of tells you what we look at and what the standards are and the inputs that are considered. The other thing I'd like to talk about, excuse me, last year, let me back up. One of the most difficult things to do with officiating in our state, or any state for that matter, is, are we doing the same things in Oklahoma City that we're doing in Tulsa, that we're doing in Durant, that we're doing in Woodward, that we're doing in Guyman? In other words, you guys have watched enough basketball to know, you look, and I do the same thing you do, I look to see who's calling the game. And I look to see if those are guys are city guys, are they Tulsa guys, are they rural guys, is it a 2-man crew, is it a 3-man crew? And now you kind of already put something into your mind about how this is going to go. You know a little bit about what that is. Sometimes you know a little bit about what mechanics you're going to use. It shouldn't be that way. I mean, it should be as close to we're all on the same page doing the same thing as possible. So the Federation came, or not the Federation, but Referee Magazine and the National Association of Sports Officials sent me last year a book for 2-man and 3-man mechanics. And the guy called me and said, hey, you know, interested in buying this book for your, or promoting this book for your state officials? And I said, well, you know, I don't know. He said, I tell you what we can do. You go through there and you look at all the mechanics that we've got and you adjust those to what you're doing in Oklahoma, and we'll make you an Oklahoma book. Okay? So that's what they've done. We put together, we call it the Mechanics Committee. I don't know that it actually ever met, but we took 3 guys and they attacked the 2-man side, and we took 3 guys and they attacked the 3-man side. Now, we're still one of the few states that does 2-man and 3-man, so we needed to have both of those in our book. And so our guys went through the book and they made all the adjustments to what they think we're doing in Oklahoma. And so then they printed it up and put our activity association thing on the outside. I put a little letter here on the inside from me that thanked Sarge for being a part of the process. Special thanks to Sarge for being part of the process. So it's in there. I am sure that if you bought a book and brought it to this meeting, he would probably autograph it for what? Not very much. Not much, okay. Anyway, remember, it's all about the money. On our website, on the basketball page, there is a link to this flyer that talks about the book. And what they've done at Referee Magazine is they don't want to print a whole bunch of them and eat them. So what they would like for us to do is kind of put a little cutoff date out there and get the orders, you know, up to a certain amount of time. Now, what they did also, and tomorrow, hopefully, if my football ejection list goes down a little bit tomorrow and I actually need to work on some basketball stuff, I will send you an email that will remind you that this is on there. I will send you an email that tells you if you buy them in bulk through your association, they've got them listed for 20 bucks. Okay, we gave one of these to each one of our campers that came to our OSSA camp. It will now be a part of your fee each time that you come, so you go to camp. It comes with a DVD. Each one of them does. This one doesn't have one with it because it's one I just grabbed off the shelf. But the one that you're going to order comes with a DVD that has all this stuff in there. Also, but it'll give you the bulk price, and if you want to buy them like that, then obviously they can make you a deal. I think the price went down, obviously, the more that you get. But here was my thought, and I'm not saying run out and buy the book because I've already got the number I needed, and you know I'm good. But here's my thought: if we can get closer and closer and closer to using the same mechanics. You know, the thing that amazed me when I took this position a couple years ago is this. I'm a basketball guy, a basketball official. I was a football coach in my career, but I'm a basketball official. I think nothing of walking into the room and seeing two people there I do not know. That doesn't bother me at all. Because I know the mechanics that we use are basic enough or solid enough or universal enough that we don't have to reteach the entire process during the pregame. Yeah, we're going to talk about some stuff, and don't go out here tonight saying he said you don't have to have a pregame. You dang bet you need to have a pregame. But you need to talk about the little things that happen, that come up, or you need to talk about that situation that happened to you last week, where you say, you ain't going to believe this, and this is what I had. As soon as you talk about it, now this is the Gary Rader rule of officiating. If you'll talk about it in the pregame, it will not happen to you during the game. Okay? If you fail to talk about it in the pregame, you can dang bet you it's going to happen to you in the game, especially if it happened to one of you previously. Okay? So I think the closer we get to all being on the same page, the easier it's going to be. And I say that to you because basketball is not like everybody else. Football officials in crews do things differently. They have to. They've got such a large space to cover. There's only 5 of them. There's 22 kids out there. They better be playing to the strengths of the 5 guys. Now, if you've ever seen 5 football officials work, you know usually there's the one big fat guy that can't move very good. Well, when you're a 3-man basketball crew, you don't get to make that adjustment. We all have areas of responsibility. You don't get to do that. Football, they can do that. Baseball, they can do that. Basketball, we can't do that. We have got to be closer to all being on the same page. The other part of that is, can you imagine what it would be like every night when you got there to the pregame and you were going to have to redo it again? Well, I wonder what he's going to do on a free throw. I wonder where he's going to go when the ball goes. Who's got the crash in the paint? If you're going to have to go through all that, your pregame better start about 3 for a 7 o'clock game. Now, hopefully, your game starts about 45 minutes before the game starts, and I hope it goes about 30 minutes. We can make it work like that if we're all on the same page. The observers all have this book. All the people at camp, these are the things that we're going to talk about. And here was the other part of that. And maybe you're, for some of you, this doesn't make any difference. But here was the problem I had. I send people out to evaluate officials. They send me reports back. When I first went to college, the first week of tests was the worst time. I had no idea what the professor was going to ask in a new class until I knew who the professor was and how he asked the test. We got that problem with evaluating officials. If you don't know what they're looking for, how can you be sure you're doing what they're looking for? Because every observer's got a couple of little things they really like to see you do. Well, I don't need you to be evaluating people off of your pet things. I need you to be evaluating people on the mechanics that we've agreed on across the state. And the mechanics that are being taught in our local associations. That's why we thought we needed to put the book together. Now, is the book going to be like this forever? I doubt it. I bet I'm hoping, in the big scheme of things, every 5 years we'll sit down and go through it again and tweak it and let it breathe and adjust and do those things we need to do. But I think we need to have something that we can all say, this is where we're at, this is what we're looking for. Now, does that mean if I do everything in that book, I'm going to get to go call a state championship game? No. No. As a football player, I had the helmet, I had the jersey, I had the pads, I even had the nice shoes and the sweatbands. But that didn't mean I got to play. It has something to do called talent and ability. Do you have to know the mechanics first? I think you do. I think you got to put yourself in a position to make a call. Is there anything in here that talks about judgment? No. There's nothing in here that talks about judgment. Not a bit. How do I learn judgment? Good luck with that. You learn judgment by going and calling games. And how do I improve on that? You call every stinking game you can get your hands on to start with. And then you find the place that you feel the most comfortable calling, and you concentrate on that level. Now, I get this asked a lot, and I'm not saying this is the right answer, but this is my answer. How do I move up? How do I go up to the next level? Well, let me ask you this question first. Have you mastered the level you're at? Have you mastered the level you're at? Because if you want to go to the next level, you better be the best at the level next to that. And if you can't say honestly that that's what you've done, then maybe you need a little more time at that level before you move up. I appreciate what you do. Basketball is the #1 sport in the OSSAA. It's the #1 revenue source in the OSSAA. It's the largest participation sport in our state. Boys and girls combined. Basketball is it. We have to have people to call the games. There has to be folks that are willing to go out and do that. I wish I could tell you that our numbers are increasing and increasing and increasing. They're probably not going up as fast as any of us would like for them to do so. But if there aren't people like you out there doing what you're doing and teaching the next generation to do it, it won't go up at all. I promise you that. I'd be glad to try to answer any questions that I have, and I'll be glad to refer most of them to Sarge or Sherry. I think that it's a lot like what our football guys ask them, is everybody legally equipped? When you say that when the coach says that they're legally equipped, then you have to assume, and rightfully so, that he's got the authorization that he needs for that. Should you require it, he's got to produce it. Do you have to request it each night? I wouldn't, but that's just me. Here's why I'm saying that. I want to stay away from this deal where a coach comes out there with a notebook full of papers, having to show you and having to do that. I want the paper to stay in the medicine kit or over there in the scorebook, or maybe she carries it in his wallet or whatever. I don't want it to be an inquiry at the captain's meeting. But I dang sure want you to say to him, is everybody legally equipped? We've got all the authorizations we need. Good to go. Am I going to request it? I'm not, but that's me. Is that what we kind of agreed on? And that's a great question. Wayne sent me an email about that, and we were kind of putting stuff together, trying to make sure we were going to say that the same. Did I say it right? I don't know.
On the ref case thing for playoff, are we going to electronically file a voucher? Is that how it's going to be done?
You don't. I do. What happens is once you're into the system, once the games are completed, let's say Monday morning, I'll go in there and look at the playoff situation, and I'll just verify that I didn't make any changes over the weekend. That will file the claim.
How will you complete the file?
It's in RefPay. It's in RefPay because they identify you by they're hooked at the hip with our, when they're accessing your zip code and where you're going, that's the way they'll figure the miles.
In playoff, in 4A, have we ever had you guys
We have.
Put thought into three-person.
We have.
For a 4A player?
We have.
Okay, how much thought have you put into it?
I guess, I'm trying to think when it was. It was not this last spring, but a spring before. Charles Green, Outpost, really hurt, came up and visited with Mr. Shakley at the office about this very thing that you're talking about. And obviously, from an officiating standpoint, I have two concerns there. One is that puts more of our guys working, okay? And the other thing is we get better coverage than what we get in a two-man crew game. I mean, they can be two great officials, and we do cover it with two, but do we get better coverage with three? Sure we do. So Mr. Shakley then put it on the, what we call the area administrators meetings. Each October, we hold 11 meetings around the state, and we talk about issues that are prevalent or coming up. And so we put on there three-man officials for 4A basketball. And to be honest with you, I knew what I thought would happen. I thought our metro areas would say, giddy up. And I thought our rural areas would say, no, we don't want to do that because that's when we're paying a third guy and a third mileage and all that kind of stuff. Well, if you think about that for a second, it's probably just backwards. Who can afford it? The people that are putting folks in the gym. And you walk out here rurally to some of these 4As and they're packing it up. You know, you come into the metro areas, it'd be, you know, we used to call it mom and dad night, you know, that's usually who's there. But here's what happened, and it was discussed, and it wasn't, there wasn't enough interest on it to bring it to the board, and here's why. And I think it's partly everybody in here's situation. You know who spoke up quickly and said, we don't want you to do that? Not the 4A people, not the 5A people, not the 6A people. The A and the B folks. And so these guys, and it was every time I went to them, I went to about 4 of them. Every time this is what happened. And I go, and the first meeting, after the first meeting I did get it, but the first one I didn't understand. And this guy stands up and they recognize him and say, why are you against? It doesn't even affect you. He goes, it doesn't. Where's that third official going to come from? Where are you going to get him? You're going to get him from an A, a B, or a 2A game, are you not? I mean, he would be at that game, he's going to go to this game. Now, rurally, that's what's going to happen. So until we increase the pool of our officials that can do three-man mechanics, until we increase the pool of our officials at the A, B, 2A, I don't see it happening. I really don't think at this point that it's strictly a financial deal. I don't think, because I think the rural guys can afford it more than our metro guys.
So you don't even see it happening for playoffs?
Yeah,
I don't see it happening. Because I don't see doing something to them that we're not doing to them during the regular season. And and several of them brought that up. You're going to do that to us in the playoffs and we're not doing it out here? So, I don't know. Will it happen in the playoffs before it'll happen in the regular season? Yeah. Well, it sure will.
Because that's my concern. How does 4A playoffs?
I got you. Well, the first year I did the assignments, the guys I assigned to the 4A boys finals, I felt like I needed to apologize, and send a note to their wives, that, sorry, they're not going to be any good for a week. So we're hoping we get there. We need to increase the number of our three-man guys, and you guys are doing that, and we're getting better at it. But we need to, anybody else?
Well, yeah. It sounds like it's you're penalizing the game because one area doesn't do three in it versus the other. That sounds like that's penalization.
Right. I understand what you're telling me. I hope we don't penalize anybody with that thought, with that deal. But yeah, would it be better from our end of it? Would it be better for the game? Well, certainly it would have to be because they're using three-man. I just don't think their schools are ready for it.
First round, the Jeopardy round. First round, the Jeopardy round.
All right, my second question is, can you talk a little bit about the concussion rule and when the player goes out of the game?
Sure. The concussion rule, as it's written now, and remember in the state of Oklahoma, it's a little bit more intense than it is anywhere else. In the state of Oklahoma, a player has to have written clearance from someone who's trained in concussion management to re-enter a contest. But as far as what we were doing officiating-wise, our part didn't change. Okay? By that I mean this. If you saw someone that you thought had a concussion, most of you walked over anyway and told the coach, 22's not right. I don't think 22's there. Now, when you say that to him, he's got to take the child out, okay? Once he does that, or she does that, if they put them back at the table, that's their business. You're not running over there to see, can I see where you check the guy in? Who did this? I need to look at their creds. No. What I love about the rule from our standpoint as the official is the entire responsibility belongs to that coach. Once you have said, Coach, I've seen something here, makes me think we've got a symptom of it. You don't have to say concussion. You got a symptom. What is a symptom? Any of those things. You know? Did they not? Did they go to the floor hard and they looked at you a little fuzzy? Now, I've been out there with some offensive linemen, they look like that all the time. But if you just think that's what happened, and what are we going to do? If we're going to miss it, which way are we going to miss it? We're going to miss it on the safety end. We're going to set the kid down. No game is worth that at all. But once you put him up there, that's up to that coach and that school to get him back in or her back in. So at that point, as far as I'm concerned, if I've sent 22 out, and we go up and down 2 more times and 22's back at the table, I'm bringing them in. And I'm not worried about it because the coach did that.
So legally, we're okay?
Legally, we're fine. We're fine. Our responsibility did not change in any sport.
Now, if that player comes in and gets hurt,
Still a coach.
You've already said about whatnot. Do you want anything back from that? Do you want an information from the officials to prove because of the situation? Because I know that something's going to be coming to you.
Yeah.
Some issue might be coming to you.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things, like when I was teaching driver's ed, the kid would say, do I signal here or do I not signal here? What's it hurt to signal? You know, you can't over-communicate that, and that's about anything. Anytime you see something that you think is going to be dropped in my lap later on, shoot me an email. Just say, hey, look, I was over there at this game this night. You know, 22 went out. We sent him out. He came back in. He got hurt again. We sent him out. He didn't come back in, but I thought you might want to know that. That's good. We're doing a deal this time with the football guys. We're asking them, after their game is over, to go online and send us a little short report. And all I'm trying to figure out basically is, did you chunk anybody? Did you throw anybody out? Or how many unsportsmanlike fouls did you have? And also I'm asking them to counter fouls and flags. I think that makes us a little more accountable when we do that. If there was another one of me and I could clone myself and he could sit there and go over basketball game reports the next day every time, we would probably do the same thing. I don't see us doing that in basketball yet. I'm hoping maybe what we might do, because the football guys have asked me this, and I didn't want to go this way, but maybe we put that out there where if you had an issue, in other words, if you had an issue at a game, in other words, if your game went fine and you didn't have any problems and everything was all good and they gave you your money and you left, okay. But if you didn't and you had something, we can leave that up there because it takes. Have you filled with that yet? It takes about five minutes, doesn't it? It doesn't take any longer. You tell me where you played. You tell me, you know, what the date was. You check the sideline. You check the flags. That's pretty much it.
Can you clarify the OTRS?
Yeah, I'll try to. It's not very clear, but I'll try to. And what he's referring to there is Oklahoma Teacher Retirement System. For some reason or another, we got crossways with some information from their office going out to some of our member schools. If you are an educator who contributes to the teacher retirement system, teacher retirement had told the member schools that if you were an employee of District A and you had gone over and officiated in District B and you were an educator, they needed to take teacher retirement out of your check when they paid you your game fee. Now, since that time, Mr. Shakely has communicated to them, and what they're saying now is this, and to the best of my knowledge, this is the way the rule has always been. If I'm employed in District A and I work a game in District A, I expect to pay teacher retirement on that amount because they are my employer. But if I'm working in District B and I'm an employee of District A, I don't pay teacher retirement on that at all. Now, what they did say, which I was not aware of, which does affect me now, maybe down the road, if I'm a retired teacher who's drawing from teacher retirement, and I work for any member school, I don't pay any contributions on that but the school is supposed to do that. All right? Now, you say, well, how are they going to track that? This is what they told us. They'll track that through 1099s that they see. When do you get 1099? Only when you make more than $600 from one particular site. Maybe we'll have a couple of guys that'll do that. It would take somebody who was calling football, basketball, softball maybe, or baseball. They got a whole bunch of that, but I don't see it happening. But, there was some confusion in their office, and there was some panic in our office. But that's crazy. I mean, it was just crazy. I thought, you know, here we got teachers trying to go out and improve their situation and go on that whack at their checks. Well, I always appreciate the opportunity to come, and it's always an honor for me to be here, and I do appreciate what you do, and I do appreciate the Tinker Association and everything that you guys do to promote officiating in our state. It's a never-ending process. You want to get on in the circle of life, this is the circle of life. Just jump in.
All right, everyone. Let's give it up to Mr. Mike Whaley, please. Okay. Just out of curiosity, Mitchell, how many do we have in attendance tonight? Well, I just love putting people on the spot.
Ask me in a couple minutes.
Just roughly.
45.
Okay. 45. Okay. Did you get my text? Are we good?
I hope so.
Ooh, this is going to be interesting. Okay. All right, here's what we're going to do. Yes, tonight we are playing Jeopardy tonight. All right? I'm going to see, this is going to be interesting. We'll see if it works or not. We're going to go with 4 teams of 11. Yeah, 4 teams of 11. I think that allow every team to score. I hope. Okay. All right. So I need everyone to stand up. We're going to fill up not the first row, the next 4 rows. Okay. The people who are currently in those rows stay there. Anyone who's not come join the team, I need 11 in each row. Yeah, stay there, Colin, stay there. Okay, I'm gonna need some assistance. Okay, that'll work. Need you and yeah. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Okay, and Mitchell or Randy, I need someone to keep score, please.
We already won. We have
That's okay. We can, I feel confident. We can stack the team.
We got 4, so that's fine. I don't feel good at all. I'm not going.
Okay.
I don't know if I should.
Here we go. We're almost ready, waiting on our scorekeeper. Okay. I think last time we went with numbers, right? Team 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Let's go team A, team B, team C, and team D. All right? Okay, are we ready? Okay, we might need to turn off this light so I can see.
Definitely need them lights.
All right, now the rules are, we will let Team A pick the first category. We will read the question, And the first hand that goes up gets the opportunity to answer. It must be in the form of a question, okay? If you get it right, you get the points. You get it wrong, you lose some points. And you get to pick the next category. Kenny Shaw. And I have